She brought me to court for full custody, said I was too aggressive to raise a daughter. Her lawyer smirked at me on the way in. I waited until it was my turn, then played a voicemail she accidentally left, screaming at our kid for ruining her body. The judge called an immediate hearing. Her lawyer just put his head down. Before we start, I just want to say thank you for being here. It means the world. But take a look at this. Only 8% of people watching are subscribed. If you enjoy these stories and want to support more of them, just one click makes a huge difference. I never wanted to fight this battle in court. For 2 years after our separation, Scarlett and I managed to co-parent Maddie, 7, with minimal drama. Our custody arrangement was pretty straightforward, weekdays with her mom, weekends with me, and we split holidays. Not ideal, but it worked. Maddie seemed happy enough, and that's what mattered. Then 6 months ago, Scarlett got engaged to some hotshot real estate developer. Suddenly, our arrangement wasn't optimal for Maddie's development. Suddenly, I was too aggressive to raise a daughter properly. Suddenly, she needed full custody with me getting supervised visits twice a month. I'm not aggressive. I'm a high school history teacher who coaches girls soccer after school. The most aggressive thing about me is how passionately I argue about whether the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team was the greatest sports upset of all time. It was. When I got served with papers requesting a custody modification hearing, I was blindsided. The filing claimed I had displayed concerning aggressive tendencies that create an unhealthy environment for a young female child. It cited 3 incidents. 1. I yelled at another driver who nearly hit Maddie in a crosswalk. 2. I aggressively confronted a teenager who pushed Maddie off a swing at the park. 3. I have concerning military memorabilia in my home that glorifies violence. The military memorabilia was my grandfather's Purple Heart and a few photos of him in uniform. He died in Korea. The aggressive confrontation with the teenager was me saying, "Hey, buddy. There are little kids waiting for the swings too. Let's be more careful." And yes, I did yell at a driver who blew through a crosswalk while texting because he nearly hit my daughter. I hired a lawyer immediately. Jenna was a no-nonsense family law attorney who'd been recommended by a colleague. At our first meeting, she didn't sugarcoat things. These allegations are weak, but family court can be unpredictable, she warned. We need to be prepared for anything. Do you have documentation of your parenting time? Photos of activities with Maddie? Any witnesses who can testify to your character as a father? I had plenty detailed calendars of every day with Maddie, photos of museum trips and soccer games, even a journal I'd been keeping since the separation to help process my feelings about co-parenting. What I didn't have was any dirt on Scarlett. She wasn't a bad mother, just someone who seemed determined to erase me from our daughter's life now that she had a wealthy fiancé who wanted to play daddy. Focus on proving you're a good father, not that she's a bad mother, Jenna advised. Judges don't respond well to parents who just try to tear each other down. I agreed, but something about this whole situation felt off. Scarlett had never expressed concerns about my parenting before. We disagreed on things. Sure. But she'd never called me aggressive or suggested I was somehow dangerous to our own child. The weeks leading up to the hearing were tense. Maddie could sense something was wrong, though we both tried to shield her from the legal battle. During one weekend visit while we were making pancakes, she asked if she'd still be able to stay at my house after her mom married Derek. Of course, sweetheart. I assured her. This is your home too. But I wasn't certain, and that terrified me. 3 days before the hearing, I was grading papers in my classroom after school when my classroom phone rang. The school receptionist had a package for me that needed to be signed for. Unusual, but not alarming. When I got to the office, there was a small package waiting. It was from Maddie's pediatrician's office and contained an EpiPen. This came with a note that it's for Maddie Harrison, the receptionist explained. I was confused. Did someone call about this? Yes. Her mother. She said Maddie developed a severe peanut allergy and needed this at both school and your home. This was news to me. I thanked her and took the EpiPen, immediately texting Scarlett. Just got an EpiPen from Dr. Chen's office. When was Maddie diagnosed with a peanut allergy? No response. I called Dr. Chen's office directly. This is Mark Harrison, Maddie Harrison's father. I just received an EpiPen that was sent to my workplace, but I wasn't aware of a new allergy diagnosis. Could you check her records for me? After verifying my identity, the nurse checked Maddie's file. Mr. Harrison, we don't have any record of a peanut allergy for Maddie. Her last allergy panel was 8 months ago, and it was negative for all nuts, and we didn't send out an EpiPen to your workplace. Now, I was really confused. I called Scarlett again. No answer. I took the EpiPen home and carefully examined the packaging. It looked legitimate, but something seemed off. I called a friend who's a pharmacist and described what happened. That sounds sketchy, he said. Don't use that pen if there's any emergency. Get one properly prescribed instead, and you might want to report this to your lawyer. I took his advice and called Jenna, who was equally concerned. This could be an attempt to make you look negligent, she warned. If you administered medication Maddie doesn't need, or if there was something wrong with that pen, document everything. Take photos of the package, the pen, save any communications with the doctor's office. This wasn't just about custody anymore. Something strange was happening, and it involved my daughter's health. I wasn't going to let it slide. The next day, I stopped by Dr. Chen's office in person. I brought the EpiPen and asked to speak with him directly. After explaining the situation, he examined the pen. This is disturbing, he said, frowning. This appears to be real, but I absolutely did not prescribe this. And as you know, Maddie doesn't have a diagnosed peanut allergy. I'd like to report this to the medical board with your permission. I agreed immediately. Before leaving, I asked if I could see Maddie's complete medical records, as I was concerned there might be other issues I wasn't aware of. As her father, I had every legal right to access these. Dr. Chen's office manager printed out Maddie's complete file. I thanked them and headed home to review everything carefully. Most of it was familiar, routine checkups, vaccinations, a few minor childhood illnesses. But then I noticed something unusual. 3 months ago, Maddie had been brought in for extreme emotional distress and anxiety. The notes indicated she was having nightmares and showing signs of separation anxiety after weekends with me. This was complete fiction. Maddie was always happy and well-adjusted during our time together. We had a consistent routine, plenty of fun activities, and a peaceful, loving relationship. She never showed any signs of distress about coming to my house or returning to her mother's. I immediately scanned these records and sent them to Jenna, who called me within minutes. This changes things, she said. We need to request all communication between Scarlett and Dr. Chen's office. If she's fabricating medical issues, that's serious. The day before the hearing, Jenna filed an emergency motion requesting these records. We didn't expect to get them before our court date, but at least we'd put the issue on record. The morning of the hearing, I felt sick with anxiety. I barely slept worrying about Maddie and what Scarlett might be capable of. As I walked into the courthouse, I saw Scarlett with her lawyer, a slick-looking guy in an expensive suit. He smirked at me as they walked past, like this was already a done deal. Inside the courtroom, Scarlett's lawyer presented their case first. He painted a picture of me as an unstable, aggressive man with concerning tendencies who couldn't provide a nurturing environment for a young girl. He dramatically described the crosswalk incident as me flying into a violent rage that deeply traumatized Maddie. He even had a therapist testify that Maddie showed signs of anxiety related to her time with me. Though this therapist had only seen her twice, both times in the past month. When it was our turn, Jenna calmly presented evidence of my involvement in Maddie's life. The activities we did together, my volunteer work at her school, testimonials from her teachers about my positive involvement. She also raised concerns about the mysterious EpiPen and the questionable medical records, suggesting that someone might be fabricating issues to influence the custody case. The judge looked troubled by this accusation. These are serious allegations, counsel. Do you have evidence? We do, Your Honor. Jenna replied, and there's something else the court should hear. She nodded to me, and I pulled out my phone. Your Honor, I received this voicemail yesterday evening. It was left on my daughter's tablet, which has a Google Voice number I set up so she could safely message her grandparents. I discovered it by complete accident. Maddie had left her tablet at my house the previous weekend. I was charging it for her when a voicemail notification popped up. Thinking it might be her grandparents, I checked it, and what I heard made my blood run cold. I pressed play, and Scarlett's voice filled the courtroom. Maddie. I don't care what your father told you. You will tell Dr. Morris that you feel scared at your dad's house. Do you understand me? I am not dealing with another custody hearing because you can't follow simple instructions. Do you have any idea what you've put me through? The stretch marks, the weight, the ruined body. The least you could do is cooperate for once in your life. If you mess this up tomorrow, there will be serious consequences. No more dance classes, no more play dates with Emma. Nothing. Got it. The recording ended. The courtroom was completely silent. Scarlett's face had drained of all color, and her lawyer had put his head down on the table. Your Honor, Jenna said quietly, we believe this clearly demonstrates who is actually causing emotional distress to the minor child. The judge's expression was thunderous. Counsel, approach the bench. Both of you. Now. After a hushed conversation, the judge announced she was calling an immediate recess and scheduling an emergency hearing for the following day. She ordered that Maddie be temporarily placed with my parents until that hearing, and that all parties submit to interviews with court-appointed evaluators. Mr. Harrison, she addressed me directly. Please provide that recording to the clerk immediately. Miss Williams, she looked at Scarlett, I strongly suggest you obtain separate counsel before tomorrow's hearing. The emergency hearing was brief but decisive. Based on the voicemail, the fabricated medical records, which Dr. Chen testified about, and the mysterious EpiPen incident, the judge granted me temporary full custody. Scarlett was given supervised visitation pending a complete psychological evaluation and parenting classes. Her lawyer, a new one as the previous one had withdrawn from the case, tried to argue that the voicemail was taken out of context and that Scarlett was just stressed about the hearing. The judge wasn't buying it. Threatening a child for potentially failing to lie in a court proceeding is not something this court takes lightly, she said firmly. Nor is fabricating medical conditions or attempting to administer unnecessary medication. As we left the courtroom, Scarlett wouldn't look at me. Her fiancé, who had been sitting in the back, hurried past without a word. I felt no satisfaction, only relief and sadness that it had come to this. Jenna touched my arm. It's not over. She warned me. We'll need to prepare for the final custody determination, but this is a significant victory. That evening, I picked up Maddie from my parents' house. I wasn't sure how much she understood about what was happening, but I knew she needed stability now more than ever. Am I staying with you now? She asked as we drove home. For a while, yes. I told her. Is that okay with you? She nodded, looking out the window. Mom gets really mad sometimes. She said quietly. She says it's because of me. My heart broke. Sweetie, your mom is going through some things right now. And sometimes grown-ups say things they don't mean when they're upset. None of this is your fault. Not one bit. Can I still see her? Of course, she's still your mom. I didn't have all the answers, and the road ahead would be complicated. But for now, my daughter was safe, and I could finally breathe again. The victory wasn't about getting revenge on Scarlett. It was about protecting Maddie and making sure she had at least one parent who put her needs first. Sometimes, justice comes not from elaborate schemes, but from simply letting the truth speak for itself, even when it arrives through an accidental voicemail on a child's tablet. Update. 6 months later, it's been half a year since that day in court, and I wanted to share how things have played out for those who were invested in our story. The temporary custody arrangement became permanent last month. I have primary physical custody of Maddie. With Scarlett getting every other weekend and one weeknight dinner, it wasn't the outcome I expected when this all started, but it's what's best for Maddie right now. Scarlett's psychological evaluation revealed some concerning issues, primarily narcissistic tendencies and anger management problems. To her credit, she's been consistently attending therapy and parenting classes as ordered by the court. Her engagement ended about 2 months after the hearing. Turns out her fiancé wasn't interested in the drama or in dating someone with supervised visitation. Dr. Chen, Maddie's pediatrician, reported the false medical records incident to the proper authorities. There were some minor legal consequences for Scarlett, but nothing that impacted our custody arrangement beyond what had already been decided. The mystery of the EpiPen was eventually solved. It turns out Scarlett's fiancé had a nephew with severe allergies, and they had somehow obtained one of his prescribed pens. The plan was apparently to catch me either refusing to administer it during a fake emergency or using it inappropriately. Either way, I would have looked like an incompetent parent. The school nurse now keeps Maddie's actual medical information on file with clear instructions about who to contact for verification of any changes. Last weekend, Maddie and I were making pancakes again, our Sunday tradition. When she looked up at me and asked, "Dad, are we gonna be okay now?" I told her the truth. We already are, sweetheart. For anyone going through something similar, document everything. Trust your instincts when something seems off. And remember that family court isn't about winning against your ex. It's about creating the best possible life for your child. Sometimes that means fighting hard battles with a calm heart.